I can't speak. Totally forgot to hold this up the whole time. So I'm gonna have to start over. There you go. Hey fellow fiction fanatics, I'm Chase. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my June wrap-up. So somehow I was able to read 8 books this month, which is insane for me. I'm very excited about that. So let's get into it. The first book I was able to get to was Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. Willow Dean is a plus-size girl who decides to enter the Miss Clover City beauty pageant, which her mom runs. And she does this to prove a point that girls like her can be just as phenomenal as all the beauty pageant girls. I liked how fast I was able to read this, and I thought it was definitely entertaining, and I really enjoyed the romance in the novel. But that's basically the only things I really liked about this book. I really didn't like how Willow Dean was leading on another guy just to kind of get back or make the guy that she was really interested in jealous. The guy that she was leading on was really sweet and nice, and he was a really good guy, and I felt bad for him. I wanted them to be really good friends, and she didn't even care about him, and I really didn't like that in the story. I also didn't like how the mother-daughter relationship never really got resolved within the book. At least I didn't feel like it did. I also felt like Willow Dean in the beginning of the book had really strong body positivity towards herself, and then as soon as Bo started liking her, she just sort of flipped a switch and then was very concerned about herself, which is somewhat understandable, but it was like a complete 180, so it threw me for a loop, and I felt like this book was, she had it, she lost it, and then she had to regain it again, and it just kind of felt weird to me. And the open ending, really, like, you gotta give me something. You can infer what was gonna happen, but I would have loved to see the reaction, you know? I would have loved to at least have a tidbit of what had happened in the end, rather than just, there you go. So I didn't love the book, but then I decided to watch the movie adaptation on Netflix. That one I actually enjoyed. I thought the movie was done better because it took out the leading another guy on, and it made the relationship between the mother and daughter better. I think the relationship between Bo and Willow Dean could have been portrayed better in the movie. It was definitely more focused on the pageant than it was on the relationship. It was just sort of put on the back burner, and I think in the book it was done a little better. This book wasn't bad, but it just wasn't what I was looking for, so I gave this book 3.75 stars. This was able to complete my challenge to read an adaptation. So the next book I read is Holes by Louis Sachar. This is the story of Stanley Yelnats as he is sent to Camp Green Lake after being convicted for a crime that he didn't commit. I'm sure a ton of people have seen the movie and hopefully read the book because the book is just as phenomenal as the movie. I absolutely loved it. I loved all the characters, and I loved the phenomenal weaving of the different timelines and stories, and I think this is a fantastic novel to read to someone. I was literally thinking, I can't wait to read this to my future kids. The only thing I didn't like was the last chapter in this book. I just felt like it took on a completely different tone than the rest of the book, and it just sort of threw me off. Don't know exactly why that was, that the author chose to do that. Overall, it was a really great read, and I gave it 5 stars. And this completed my challenge for Throwback Thursday, which is when I read a book that I loved growing up. Then I randomly picked up a book called Narwhal, Unicorn of the Sea by Ben Clanton. This was just a quick, fun read that was completely unexpected, and I just thought it was really cute and enjoyable. It's about this narwhal and his jellyfish friend, and just kind of like their fun little adventures that they go on. And it was just really cute and really fun, and it definitely put a smile on my face. So if you have a chance to read this, I would definitely pick it up. And I gave this 5 stars. The next book I read is Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. She is becoming one of my favorite authors. I really enjoyed this book. It was so good. So this is the second book in the Children of Blood and Bone. I believe it's a trilogy. In this book, Orisha is on the brink of civil war between the Magi and the nobility, but magic is back for both sides. The magic in this book is breathtaking. I was so intrigued to find out all the different kinds of magic and how they were used, and I loved seeing the Magi just in their element. It was so good. It was so cool. I loved all the twists and turns that were in this book. This book is just fantastic. I love the adventure, and I love meeting all these new characters. The only thing that I can say I didn't like is that now I have to wait for the third book because it is just phenomenal, and I loved it. I'm just eagerly awaiting the third book. So obviously I gave this book 5 stars, and it completed my challenge to read a book that has a beautiful cover, because as you can see, it does. So the next book I don't think I need a summary for at all, and that is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This actually completed my challenge to read a buddy read. My sister chose this book for us. Not the best time. She had no idea, and neither did I, because she chose it before anything happened with the author. I want to let you all know I am no longer supporting this author. I will not be saying her name on this channel. What she said is hurtful, harmful, disrespectful, and absolutely and completely wrong. Trans women are women, trans men are men, non-binary people are non-binary, and all are valid. I want you all to know that this is a safe space for everyone and anyone, and I want you to feel welcome, loved, and supported here. And my heart goes out to all of you. All this being said, the world of Harry Potter and its community has been so loving and uplifting to me for years and years that I can't just abandon it. I will never stop loving this world. I'm not going to stop my sister from enjoying and experiencing Harry Potter for the first time. As someone else so eloquently put it, we have collectively divorced ourselves from the author. I think that's a phenomenal way of putting this. I'm definitely separating the work from the author. In my opinion, she's been going off the deep end for a while now, and I'm not dealing with any of her crap anymore. Anyways, all that being said, let's get into what I liked about this book. I loved seeing things that I hadn't noticed before or that I hadn't remembered. Like, for instance, I forgot how often Neville is a part of the trio and how he's there for pivotal moments in the book. I love seeing the trio as they were starting off. I love seeing their friendship as it started to grow, and I just thought it was so great to see that. And I absolutely loved Sassy Harry. I am so excited to see more of Harry and his sassiness. It's just, I love it so much. It's just so great. Oh my gosh, Hagrid. I love Hagrid so much. He is definitely my favorite character, and he deserves so much more credit than he gets. I think he is so great, and he's just this big teddy bear, and I love him. He's the father figure that Harry deserves. Spoiler alert, never gonna get over the fact that Harry didn't name one of his kids after Hagrid. The only thing I could say that I disliked about this book is that I forgot how long it actually takes to get to Hogwarts. There's a lot of setup, and I mean, being that it's the first book, it makes sense. You have to introduce the world and everything going on, but I just forgot how long it actually takes to get there. So overall, I gave this book 5 stars, and like I said, it completed my buddy read challenge. Then I read Dear Martin by Nick Stone. This is about Justice McAllister as he faces political injustice, police brutality, and racial profiling firsthand. Because of this, he decides to read more of Martin Luther King Jr.'s writings and start writing letters to him. He takes on this sort of mantra of what would Martin do, and as he does this, he sees how ignorant and racist some of his classmates are. I really loved the character dynamics and the friendships that we see in this novel. This really pulled at my heartstrings, and the fact that what Martin goes through happens again and again, it was just sickening to me. But it was definitely worth the read, and I think far more people need to read this, especially if you love The Hate U Give. Pick up Dear Martin as well. The only thing I would say that I disliked about this book is that I hadn't picked it up sooner. I gave this book 5 stars, and I'm really glad that I finally picked it up. The next book I read is The Dark Prophecy by Rick Riordan. This is the second book in the Trials of Apollo series, where we're following Apollo as he has to regain his godly status. He is now a human and has to go through quests along with other demigods. I think he is absolutely hilarious because he is so self-absorbed and hypocritical, and he doesn't understand what's going on, and he's oblivious to the fact that he is any of these things. It just makes for a great time. I love this book so much. I love getting to see characters that we know and love already, along with the new characters that are definitely finding a place in my heart. I love the adventure and the characters, and I think Rick Riordan's ability to weave these myths so seamlessly into the story that he wants, just phenomenal. You'd think after 13 plus books that he would start running out of material, but no, he just is able to do it so flawlessly, and I loved it so much. This is such a great story, and I am super excited to get into the third one. The only thing I disliked about this book is battle ostriches. I have an extreme fear of ostriches. I don't like birds in general, but ostriches are the worst, and it doesn't help that these ones here have collars with spikes on them and metal teeth. It's just, no thank you. I'm good. I definitely gave this book 5 stars. I am so excited to be continuing on with this series. This was able to complete my to be continued challenge, which is when I continue on with the series. And the final book that I was able to read is Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is the second book in the Nevermore series, and this follows Morrigan as she enters the Wonder Society and the chaotic, unpredictable world of Nevermore. I love the magical school element of this book. I mean, who doesn't love that? This is such a unique, diverse, amazing, and bizarre world, unlike anything I've ever read before. This story is so good, and it took me to places that I never saw coming. I love that we get to learn more of Nevermore and the Wonder Society and Unit 919. I love the friendships and the characters within this novel. Hawthorne is definitely my favorite. He is so funny. He's such a loyal and good friend to Morrigan. I think he was just a phenomenal character. I am super excited to see what happens next, and I'm definitely looking forward to Hollowpox when it comes out later on this year. I wouldn't say I disliked anything about this novel, but I was really surprised by how dark this got. At times I was like, this made it into a middle grade? Alright then. Overall, I gave this book 5 stars, and this was able to complete my coordinates challenge, which is where I use Goodreads and some numbers to find coordinates to lead me to the next book I'm going to read. Alright, so that's all the books I was able to get to in June. I'd love to know what books you were able to read this last month. Let me know if you read any of these books and what you thought of them. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to share the love. I'll see you next time. Bye!